Excellent stuff. Right then, we will bring you into the stream. Howard Jones of Light the Torch. Dude, how are you?
How's it going?
Really good, man. Really good. We're just having a discussion here amongst the chat. So we're live on Twitch right now. And there was a band called Beartooth who apparently got compared to some older metalcore bands and were called dadcore. And that hurt my soul. How do you feel about that, man?
I don't. Yeah, I have no feelings one way or another about such stuff, like titles and categorizing things. Yeah, I just don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of at that point too, particularly I think with like when you say like the categorizations and stuff, when it's like another subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre, and you kind of go into the infinite regress almost. But I guess it's maybe slightly different as music comes of age. There's bands from like 20 years ago hitting all their 20 anniversary bands. I grew up with new metal and all that sort of thing. And yeah, so it's like metalcore is like the next one, I guess, as we kind of like move through that, and we're sort of 20 years into metalcore now. I must admit, I never thought metalcore would endure so popular as a genre to right through is now. Is that surprising to you when you see bands still getting hugely popular, new bands now getting hugely popular off the metalcore sound, essentially?
Music to me, I don't give that thought. It's just like, oh, that band's doing well, that's great. I just don't categorize things. That's kind of that's a thought process that's just kind of like it'd be a waste of time for me. I just don't think about that.
Good. You know what, man?
I live in that world, so it's like for me, it's just like call it whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah. No. Honestly, and I think it's probably more of a media, journalistic, radio type of thing. You're constantly categorizing it, so you're lucky, man, that you don't fall into those traps. I wish I didn't get dragged into it.
And I understand that you kind of have to.
I know. It's
put things
like
into a ball, so
Well, it is tricky sometimes because
it.
I play tons of new bands on the show all the time, and like I have to start somewhere by describing a band somehow, and I try to avoid going the direct thing. Going, oh, this band sounds like this band. I try to more describe a band's sound rather than going, if you like X, you will like this sort of thing. So I think I try that. I think it's a better way to approach it. Yeah,
I mean, if I categorize anything, it's generally, is it heavy or not heavy? That's pretty much as far as I go.
I think for me, ultimately, just as not thinking with my radio hat or like my presenting hat, just as a music fan, two types of music, good, bad. And that's it, and that's it for me. I'm not so keen even though I care about the genres. Do I enjoy the track or do I don't? If I don't, then that's it.
That's really, generally where it falls for me. Like, do I like it? Cool. I'm not going to care what someone thinks about it or what category it goes into. It's just something I don't really think about.
No, absolutely, man, absolutely. So, dude, I have to say, it's so good to be chatting with you again, because the last time we spoke was really does feel like a lifetime ago. It must have been about 2014. This is back when Light the Torch was Devil You Know. So, very, very long time ago. And because it's been such a long time, I'd actually like to ask you this. What was it that wasn't quite right about Devil You Know that sort of led to Light the Torch? What was it about that? Like, why did you need to sort of make that change? I think it was about 2016 that you did. Was it like band chemistry or
2016, 2017,
something like that? What was it that wasn't quite right with Devil You Know that led to Light the Torch?
The four of us in the band had an equal share of the name. We fired the drummer, but thing is, firing him, he would still retain part of the name.
So it was a politics thing in the end.
So instead of him keeping his portion, we decided to lose the name because we wanted no involvement with him.
Right. So really just, that cut and dry then. Yeah. Because even though like something like that is quite cut and dry, actually there is a difference in sound between like the Torch and Devil You Know. There definitely is. You can really hear that.
One of the reasons we changed the name was because we were completely changing it. wasn't just, getting rid of a member. We were just going to completely change everything so that it's like we had to kill off Devil You Know.
Mm.
We I remember us throwing away, you know, probably 500 or 600 t-shirts.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck,
all
man.
the discs are gone. It's just that's done. Um, it was not a fun situation, not fun to talk about,
Mm.
and there was definitely one specific person to blame.
Right,
So
right. Yeah. So
that's why we decided it's time for us to move on,
to move
cut
on
all things, and even change the music. So therefore, there's no mistaking what we are. We
between
are a
the
different
two.
entity.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. And it seems like it really, in so many ways, fuel for the fire for Light the Torch. I guess it must have felt like that as you were like, right, we go again, sort of thing.
It had its moments, but at the same time, you know, it, it's a challenge. It's just kind of a starting over again. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah,
let's
and I
do
was
it.
wondering about that. Do you enjoy the challenge of building up a band again? Because you will know, like more than most, how hard it is to build up a band. And fuck, you saying there, throwing out your hundreds of copies of records. But I think part of the enjoyment of a band is growing it. Like, do you enjoy the challenge of building a band up?
Um, Probably. I think I enjoy challenges in general, not particularly one that I wanted to do. You know, um,
Mm.
it's very time consuming and all of that good stuff, but very happy that we did what we did. Uh, it does seem like I start a lot of bands, so I don't know.
Well, dude, I can totally sympathize because I've had a very similar situation with radio. I've presented for stations like Kerrang and was on a station called Team Rock, which is the station where we last spoke, and then now we're doing Primordial. So I think I very much connect to you and your journey with music and Light the Torch because I know how difficult it be to start over again. And for me,
Mhm.
with Primordial, one thing I've tried to do each day is actually just try and enjoy the moment as we sort of rebuild it all back together. Because for me, if I constantly look back and go, fuck, if this hadn't happened, I'd be there. It's like just eats you
Yeah.
up.
Oh, that to me is a waste of time. It's
Mm,
like being upset or anger. It only it can only fuel you for so long.
yeah.
At least that's what I found for myself.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
I
Yes.
try not to spend a lot of time doing that, and it's sort of like if I have to start over, your head does kind of get filled up because it's monumental of all the little things you have to do again and start over.
Mm,
But at the same time, once my mind's made up with something, I'm
we're
going to do it.
we're going
I,
for it.
I'm I
Yeah.
um I think that's something about me. I can be consistent to the point of obstinance. But yeah, it's just once I set my mind to it, it's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, and really interesting there. You said that that sort of that anger and even sadness. It's hard to maintain. I can really relate to that because when we started Primordial, we were very angry at the situation, and we've had lots of conversations about this because in the beginning of the station, it was that sort of anger that like really fueled the station and kind of got us out there. But a couple of years in, I was being very honest, saying I can't maintain anger and it's not genuine to do so. And I've
Yeah.
always thought that could be a difficult thing for metal bands across the board is to sort of falsely portray anger on a record. Is that a tricky thing to sort of overcome in a metal band?
Uh, I don't know. That's not something I really thought a whole heck of a lot about. I think anger is something that comes very easily, and you remember the things that upset you most.
Mm,
That's the whole fight or flight thing.
yeah.
But it's like your body and mind, and you want to avoid things that are bad. So
Hmm.
that's the stuff you remember. So I don't know. It's not like that's ever going to go away, but it's fun to explore that side. Just angry music is kind of fun.
Well,
But
definitely. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, just being so yeah. writing angry music, but being angry all the time, I don't know if those two things are
Two very
completely
different
possible.
things, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't be angry all the time, but writing angry music is
and,
is actually
and
like a
also,
different
if you
thing.
are angry all the time, you are literally not a fun person.
Yeah, I bet. Well, and that's it, because like all the conversation we've had and all the interviews you do, you do seem like you really enjoy what you do, which is great. Ultimately to get to
It
that point.
took time, but yeah, here we are, and yeah, I enjoy it.
That's great, man. That's great. So You Will Be the Death of Me. It's out now. I was listening to it earlier today. 12 tracks, banger after banger. And just talking about this here, about enjoying what you do. I like the Torch albums. Enjoyable to make. Do you enjoy studio time? Because I know not every band does, but do you enjoy making an album with Light the Torch, or is it more get it done and then I can't just wait to play it live?
No, I enjoy it, but it's there's a price that comes with doing an album. It's one thing to do a few songs, and so you're busy and everything. But once I'm committed to an album, it's like the world kind of goes away. So I'm not hanging out with people, and not that I do a lot of that anyway. But I'm not hanging out. I'm not watching TV or listening to music or going to movies or anything. It's just I become obsessed,
Hmm.
and to the point where there's music in my dreams and everything. It that part is awful because I get obsessed, and so that's that part of me. But at the same time, absolutely love it. Is walking into a studio with nothing and then coming out with like an actual product. It's I still get goosebumps when you write something and it's like that makes sense. That's awesome. Okay, I love it when a song makes sense, and it can come out a different way than you thought, but just when it clicks, that feeling, that's still a feeling I can't replicate in my life.
And the album has like a real amazing flow to it, which I really really enjoy. Like from track to track, it seems like the piecing of the album, like it doesn't feel like they were just bunged up on there, or even an A&R guy just went, I think the order should be this. Actually, the album feels like it was very thought out in terms of which tracks are going to lead one to
Yeah,
the next.
a lot went into that, and a lot of that is the guitarist Francesco. Well, first, it's just like sorting through the bombardment of music that this man writes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like it's no joke. We generally 25 to 40 songs per album.
Wow.
He's
And
he's
that's a lot
pretty
to trim
intense.
down to like 10,
Oh
12
yeah,
tracks.
so you're just weeding through a lot of material, but then when you find stuff and you start working through it, and I don't know, it's like he somehow has an idea of how to assemble it so it has a flow. And I got to give him credit on that. It just, I don't know how he does it. But then again, that guy's kind of a genius. He
Well,
really is.
interesting as well, see, because I think initially when we were talking about setting up this chat, we were thinking about trying to get your band members on as well, but for various reasons we couldn't. But I don't know a great deal actually about sort of your band members, and obviously because of COVID, you haven't yet met all of you guys in person or anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, tell me a little bit about your I guess your band members in your band, like the chemistry of that, and I guess obviously we know there's some history back there we don't need to rake over anymore, but I guess like how sort of the band like the Torch is, you as a collective, a group has sort of really come together.
Yeah. I mean, well, got back together with when we were Devil, and I mean, we've all been in, all of our various bands, and we've played shows and various festivals together. But and I know Ryan and I, Bleeding Through and Killswitch have played shows together, and
Yeah.
just Bleeding Through and Blood's Been Shed and all that. So
Mm.
we had known each other, and so it's just when we finally got together and just started getting to know each other and getting to know each other's ups and downs, and I don't know, just took time, and we figured out, oh well, we like each other.
I mean, that's
So yeah,
surely as well as the music, of course, band
yeah.
chemistry. One of the most important. Like, if you can't get on with someone for an extended time on a bus, like you're screwed.
Oh
It's,
yeah, and that's the thing. We spend time when we're not on the bus, when we're not on tour, when we're not in the studio. It's just that's what it's become with us. You know, we hang out. You know, we like each other's company. So
Yeah.
it's been a really cool thing just getting to this journey, and but also I respect these guys too,
Mm.
and you know, just Ryan's been in bands almost as long as I have, and Fran's been in bands for a long time, and you know, just his knowledge of music, and you know, just graduating top of his class from Berkeley, and
Oh, honestly,
he,
one thing I was going to say to you today was another thing that stood out from the album was the musicianship on the album. Like it stands,
yeah,
like it really stands out. Oh,
yeah,
some of the
I'm
solos on it are
lucky to work
ridiculous.
with the guys I work with, you know, and yeah, it's like I think about Francesco when he came to the U.S. for school, you know, when he was I think 19 or 20. Yeah, he came to Berkeley, and so he had just picked up the guitar. He had only been playing for like maybe a year or something like that. But also when he came to the U.S., that's when he started learning English.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, so to come here and do what he's done, and then do all the artwork for the album too. It's just
Oh
he's
wow, I didn't know that. On top,
yeah,
right? So he did all the artwork
he's
too.
an it was just something he decided, hey, I want to try and learn artwork. And so over the past few years,
Honestly,
he did.
I dabbled my hand once doing like a Bob Ross, and those were not little happy trees, Howard. They were
Oh,
not happy trees.
yeah, I'm the same. I have no artistic merit in these hands.
None
There's
whatsoever.
nothing
Like
there.
absolutely nothing there whatsoever.
Uh, but yeah, that guy, he's one of those guys that if he decides he's going to do something, it's like he'll figure it out. And I watched it too many times. It's just like, I don't understand your brain. It just it hurts me. You gorgeous, gorgeous man. I don't get it.
That's so cool, man. You said earlier that you made a comment that you weren't spending a whole great deal of time with people. I was wondering, is that more of a COVID lockdown thing, or is that more as like you as a person? Because I think probably might be fair to say when we spoke, perhaps kind of like myself. I guess I feel like maybe I'm relating. I'm a bit more of an introvert, and I was wondering if you're a bit, are you a bit more sort of that way inclined, or is it more of the COVID thing?
Oh, oh, it's not even a bit. I am full on, full on
Introvert.
introvert.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
you know, I don't have social media. I don't. I have a pretty small circle, and that works for me.
how,
I'm.
and I hope you don't mind me asking this, but how difficult does that make even like this, like what we're doing right now, and and other interviews, and then
Oh, I hate it.
yeah. I kind of figure, right? Because I'm also
So,
fairly I'm somewhere in the middle. I think I find small circles okay, but big groups I can be like fuck. So like for me, this is not so bad because it's a one-to-one thing.
mhm.
Um, but big groups is where I'm a bit more like, "Ugh."
Oh,
um,
that's the worst.
mm,
Yeah, big groups are terrible. But then again, just I don't know. I was the guy who, walking down the street, if you were walking towards me, I'd cross the street to avoid talking to you. and this isn't because we've known each other and had some interactions. No, it's because we might say hello. So
yeah,
I'll
you
just
got to do
avoid
that
that and
awkward
keep
sort of
going.
preamble
But yeah,
conversation, talk about the
I've always
weather,
been
and
like that.
yeah, and
Yeah,
all of that sort of
yeah.
stuff.
It's just that's just me. So it's nothing to do with anyone else. It's just me.
Is that been sort of tricky to, I guess, to manage over all of the years, and something you've had to really learn to do? As of course, people would have gotten to know you over the Killswitch years and everything like that. People coming up to you, recognizing you, and like, holy fuck, I got to deal with people now because not nowhere near on the same scale as what you would have been through. But certainly myself, I feel like yes, I'm sort of learning to do that myself a little bit.
You know, with time, I guess it evolves. You know, I've gotten a little better with it, but at times not very good at it. It's weird because it's just not. It's not something that feels natural to me. I'm not inclined to strike up the conversation.
Mm.
Just you know, be friendly. Like a regular human being.
Do you know what? Do you know what I struggle with most, Howard? Is small talk.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
can have like amazing convers. Like we were so fortunate and lucky enough. This weekend, just got past weekend, there was the Download Festival pilot happened,
hmm
which was interesting because it was 10,000 of us like back in, and it really was like
yeah,
once you'd done your checks, you're free again, like mask off, like hugs and all that sort. So yes, it was great for music experiment, but it was also like a
hmm
human experiment because it was like you're free, off you go with social contact. And what I found was that some of the best conversation I had over the weekend was where I was sat down with one or two folks and I had like a good half-hour chat versus
hmm
like 30 chats of a minute going like, hey, 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 hey. I found like, I had some amazing conversation with people, but it was the
yeah,
ones where it was a bit deeper. Um,
yeah. It's like watching a 6-part series compared to a hour and a half movie. You know,
yes, yes.
you're going to get more detail.
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely say that. And I know you're an outdoors person, really like your sports, and I hear you're quite into fishing, right?
I I do enjoy it. Haven't got to do much of it lately, just because when I record, I get a little obsessed, and so
Mm.
fun goes out the window.
Well, yeah.
And
I mean, I was kind of wondering what with all of the various lockdowns and everything we've been through, but maybe as an introvert, actually, that didn't bother you at all. The lockdown stuff did it make it was it challenging for you or not, or did you just breeze through it?
I think, I definitely, in the beginning, you're just kind of curious as to, what's going to happen and how do you make up, and take up the time, so it was just like slowly figuring out, okay, this is going to go for a while. All right, I got to do something. And once I figured out a plan, I was good to go. Um, so definitely had some people in my life affected by COVID, and so that was
Mm.
rough. But
Sorry to hear
yeah,
that.
I'm pretty easily self motivated, I guess. So for me, I just worked a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
it kept me sane. It
Yep.
really did.
Yep, I I did exactly the same, honestly, man. Yeah, like for like. We've got about 5 minutes left, and if it's all right with you, just a few questions in the chat from people watching right
Oh,
now.
I didn't even know that was happening. I never know.
If well, it's just a few, if that's cool.
No, 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 I don't mind. I just, hey, I have no idea.
Cool.
Hi, everybody.
So G plus C saying, um, what's happening with the Jared Dines project with Scion? Obviously, you blew that, and yeah, and like that whole project just looks amazing. What you're doing with Jared, I was kind of like with all the Light the Torch stuff. I was like, does this man sleep? Like, where's he get the time?
Generally, no. Kind of a little notorious for that. Yeah, I struggle sleeping. But we have, I think I demoed something like 15 or 16 songs. And so we're narrowed it down to the 12, and now we're just kind of cleaning them up so that they are presentable.
Okay, cool. Right, right. And because when I first saw Scion, I must admit I thought, oh, this is Jared's band where Howard is a guest, and then it sort of tweeted like, oh, it's a full band too. So is the ambition to have like two full-time bands?
Um, there wasn't really an ambition. It was more just like, hey, pandemic. Okay, I can't sit. And because I'm kind of, a little ADHD. So I need to do something. And so Jared and I have been keeping in touch because I had told him we should do some music down the road, sometime down the road. And so during the pandemic, he said, well, it's down the road time. Are you down to do this? And he said yes. So
Nice.
we just started writing. I mean, we weren't sure if we were just going to do a few songs, but it just snowballed. And so we kept going. And now we have a full length. So
And I
That's
must
kind of
admit,
how it happened.
it was very, very cool to hear sort of the more technical side of metal, for lack of a word, gent. But like, yeah, some of those like drop D riffage, like with your vocals layered on top, I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and that's honestly that and some of the other projects I've had going on, but that really kept me busy, kept me sane, kept me focused.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Rob Steen getting in touch and saying, yeah, Howard, you're a true legend. Been lucky enough to see you with Devil You Know twice, which is very, very cool. This is quite a specific question, though, so I'm not sure you'll be able to answer this. Do you remember signing my blue Mexican wrestling mask at Sonosphere Festival? See, it must be difficult to remember anything like that, right?
Um,
So I think this must have been about
I
2014,
I
15.
feel like I feel like I may have remembered signing a Lucha Libre mask, but
Yes, I think that
same
would be the
time,
one. He was then stood
but
watching you with it in Southampton later on, I guess. Would have been after Sonosphere Festival. But yeah.
however, there's definitely not the only mask I've signed. So, but
I bet.
if I do recall it, okay.
I bet, man. And last one here, saying this is from Master of None, saying in the song "The Virus is the Virus." I guess it's sort of talking about depression. But Master of None is asking, is that kind of is what the song about? Does it go in that direction? Because he wasn't sort of 100% sure about sort of I guess the lyrical nature of the song "Virus is the Virus."
Ah, wow. I generally don't even talk about lyrics, but I'll say, no, that's not what that was about.
Right, right, right. I like that though. It's like I think lyrics that can be open to interpretation, I think could be great because it can mean many different things to many different people, and actually you can hit people in so many more ways like that. Whereas if it's something very specific, it's like that can only
Yeah,
relate to that.
yeah, I don't even know if I've ever said it. That song's about somebody.
Ah, right, right. So it is about something
Yeah, I don't think I've ever
very,
said it.
very specific, and I suspect we won't know that, but that's fine. I'm not going to press. Howard, I know you hate doing interviews, and as a fellow introvert, I totally get it and understand. But I have to say, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak
Oh
again
yeah,
after
and
such a long time.
yeah, it's that's the thing with interviews. It's not like oh the person or it's just like that anxiety of talking.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just I'm very good with silence, and so like I don't mind sitting in it, and but by nature can't do that here. So
no,
got to
no. If
talk.
anything, I try more to just have a chat. I don't like the word interviews in many ways. I prefer just to have a chat. So it's been nice to
Oh,
have a chat.
oh
And
yeah, and this has been great. But yeah, there's definitely some that are poorly structured.
oh
Let's
my
just
god,
put it
just
that
very
way.
quickly before you go, Howard, because I have to ask you about this, because it came up on YouTube today as I was flitting around some Light the Torch stuff. Because it always comes up in the YouTube algorithm, the most awkward Killswitch interview ever.
Oh,
Do you like? Was that like because I've watched that going? Was that a setup? Was that was that is
no, it
that
was
like legit?
that was real. That was
Fucking
real.
hell. Do you know the
It
bit that
just
cut me the most on that? Because me and my mate from uni used to watch that drunk because it was so funny. But the bit
that
that got me was like, oh, I knew Andy produced the record. And then he just didn't go, who's Andy? Oh, it's great to know that that actually
yeah,
happened. And
yeah,
oh,
that
God bless
happened.
that man. Like, fuck, he died on camera.
Yeah, that happened in real time. It was
Oh,
mind blowing.
oh man. Well, everyone, Light the Torch new album, it is out now. Go get a copy. It is out now. All the streaming places, record stores, grab a copy. As I said, real great flow to the album. It's amazing to hear. And Howard, I hope, who knows where we're going to be, international travel, COVID and all of that. But soon, I hope we get you back to the UK. And it's been an
Yeah,
absolute pleasure to speak to you again today.
yeah, we're way overdue to to get our
Absolutely. Everyone
back
is.
there.
So as soon as we could get you back to the UK, man, it'll be sick to see you here. But yeah, for now, it's been such a pleasure to catch up, and yeah, wish you all the best off the back of the new album from Light the Torch.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you so much, Steve. Take care now.
Appreciate it, bro.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.